The playoffs are over. We were treated to 41 games, and today I want to pick out the 5 best ones. Normally, I have honorable mentions, but this year there weren't that many close, intense games, but I was able to find 5 really good ones. Number 5, NLDS Game 2, Phillies at Braves. Already having lost Game 1 at home, the Braves were faced with a must-win in Game 2. Max Fried took the mound, and right away, he gave up a run in the first, and JT Realmuto got him with a 2-run homer in the third. The Phillies are known for their thunder, but they used small ball to score their 4th run in the 5th. Nick Castellanos got a base hit, stole second base, advanced to third on a bad throw, and Bryson Stott got a sac fly to drive him in. Meanwhile, Zach Wheeler was dominant, allowing 1 base runner after 5 innings, and that was on an error. The Braves finally cracked his armor in the 6th. A 2-out walk to Ronald Acuna, and Ozzie Albies hitting a single to drive him in, thanks to a blown cutoff between Castellanos and Trey Turner. Wheeler still had a 3-run lead, 9 outs from the win, but he gave up a hit to Matt Olson in the 7th, and Travis d'Arnaud cut the lead to 1 with a home run, knocking out Wheeler. Jose Alvarado came in and got the last 2 outs, then the first out in the 8th, and in comes Jeff Hoffman to protect a 1-run lead. Right away, he hits Ronald Acuna. He gets Ozzie Albies, and with 2 outs, Austin Riley comes up and flips the game on its head. He launched a 2-run homer to take a 1-run deficit and turn it into a 1-run lead. And the Braves had come all the way back from having no hits and being down 4 to having the lead going into the 9th. AJ Minter walks Bryce Harper, and Brian Snitker brings in Raisel Iglesias. He gets Realmuto to fly out, and then Castellanos comes up and crushes one to deep center. Harper is rounding second so he can score the tying run, but Michael Harris makes a leaping catch, crashes into the wall, fires it back to the infield. It gets away from everyone, and the hero on offense, Austin Riley, is right there backing it up, throwing a strike to first to double up Harper and win the game. Great comeback, great finish, but this would be the only game the Braves would win in this series. Number 4, ALCS Game 5, Astros at Rangers. The series was tied 2-2, the road teams winning every game up to this point, and Game 5 featured the same matchup from Game 1, Justin Verlander versus Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery was masterful in Game 1, giving up nothing after 6+ innings, but right away, he served up a home run to Alex Bregman. These 2 aces settled in, getting out of jams, including this 5th inning failed bunt from Jose Altuve trying to double up the lead. Nathaniel Lowe immediately responded, hitting a game-tying home run, but the Astros had an answer of their own as Montgomery started to fall apart. He walked Bregman, gave up a hit to Alvarez, and Jose Abreu drove in the go-ahead run. Montgomery stayed in to walk Kyle Tucker, and he was done. Josh Sborz came in with the bases loaded and got McCormick to fly out, and Pena to ground out, escaping the jam with only 1 run. Just like Montgomery fell apart in the 6th, Verlander did the same. Seager doubled, Carter singled, and Adolis Garcia came up and hit a massive 3-run homer, pimping it around the bases, spiking his bat, stomping on the plate, and when he came up 2 innings later, Brian Abreu threw a fastball right at him. This cleared the benches. Abreu and Garcia were both ejected, and this put 2 on with nobody out, but Ryan Presley came in and got out of the jam, striking out Nathaniel Lowe with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Still, the Rangers had a 2-run lead and brought in closer Jose Leclerc, and he gives up a single to Yainer Diaz. John Singleton pinch hits and walks. Then, Jose Altuve steps up and launches a 3-run bomb, flipping the score and giving the Astros a 5-4 lead. But the Rangers weren't done. Presley was still in to close it out, but he gave up back-to-back singles to Mitch Garver and Jonah Heim, the top of the order coming up, and Presley got Marcus Semien to line out. Corey Seager almost got one out of the park, but it fell just short, and he got Evan Carter swinging to cap off his epic comeback, taking a 3-2 lead back to Houston, but it did the Astros no good. Number 3, NLCS Game 3, Phillies at Diamondbacks. Coming into Game 3, the Phillies offense looked like a freight train, scoring 15 runs in their 2 wins at home, and people were asking if the Diamondbacks could even make this a competitive series. Brandon Pfaadt was a rookie, tasked with slowing down the Phillies, and that's what he did. He gave up 2 hits, walked no one, struck out 9, and nobody scored after 5 innings. In the 6th, he got the first 2 guys out and got pulled, only throwing 70 pitches, but that's baseball these days. And Lovello said he even asked his bench coaches if he was being an idiot for pulling a guy that's been so dominant. He wanted the lefty Andrew Saalfrank to face Kyle Schwarber, also avoiding a 3rd time around the order for Pfaadt. And even though he walked Schwarber, he got Trey Turner. On the other side, Ranger Suarez continued his great postseason play, giving up just 3 hits, walking 1, and striking out 7 into the 6th inning. And after giving up a double to Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll advancing him, he was done, and Jeff Hoffman came in to get the last 2 outs and strand Marte at 3rd. The Diamondbacks bullpen faltered in the 7th, Saalfrank walking Harper, Ryan Thompson coming in and giving up a weak single to Bohm, but they got a double play ball from Bryson Stott. With 2 outs and Harper on third, Thompson yanked one to the backstop, and Harper scored the first run of the game. With the lead, and 9 outs away from a commanding 3-0 series lead, the Phillies turned to a Ryan Kerkering, a rookie with barely any major league experience. A curious choice for such a high-leverage situation, and it did not go well. Tommy Pham singled, Lourdes Gurriel doubled in the pinch runner Alek Thomas, and then Pavin Smith singled. Jose Alvarado came in, and he got the rare infield in 6-4-3 double play, and then got Geraldo Perdomo himself, keeping the game tied. Both teams threatened late, Alvarado getting Alex Thomas with a go-ahead run at second, and Paul Sewald striking out Alec Bohm in the same situation. On comes Craig Kimbrell to get the game into extra innings, and it falls apart fast. He walks Lourdes Gurriel, he steals second. Pavin Smith gets an infield single. Seager saved the day by throwing out Gurriel at home on this play. He walks Perdomo to load the bases, and Arizona's MVP Ketel Marte comes up and lines a single to center, walking off the Phillies and playing themselves right back into the series. This was a thrilling win that wouldn't be topped until the very next day. Number 2, NLCS Game 4, Phillies at Diamondbacks. Having a little faith that they could win this thing, Arizona went with a bullpen game and the Phillies did the same. The Diamondbacks started with Joe Mantiply, then Luis Frias, then Kyle Nelson, and they got through the first 3 innings unscathed. The Phillies started Christopher Sanchez, and after a clean first, he had a rough second, no thanks to his defense. Bohm made an error, Real Muto had a pass ball, and Emmanuel Rivera drove in Christian Walker. Sanchez would last into the third, got pulled with 1 out and a man on third. Jeff Hoffman comes in and gives up a hit to Gabriel Moreno. That gives the Snakes a 2-0 lead. Kyle Schwarber got one back off Kyle Nelson in the fourth. Then Miguel Castro came in and got 5 outs, giving up a single to Real Muto. He was pulled. Andrew Saalfrank comes in, and Brandon Marsh ties the game with a double. Saalfrank completely lost his composure in the 6th, walking Schwarber, Turner, and Harper. Ryan Thompson comes in, and then Bohm hits this ball to third base. Emmanuel Rivera throws it home. Schwarber collides with Moreno, and the ball gets away. He scores. Turner's right behind him. But it was a key play to throw out Bohm trying to take second. He walked Bryson Stott, and he took second base. But Thompson bore down and struck out Real Muto, and got Castellanos to ground out, stranding runners on second and third, keeping this a 2-run game. Johan Rojas got a big hit in the 7th, a 1-out triple, and Trey Turner drove him in with a sac fly. This now becoming a 3-run game. 9 outs from losing once again, the Diamondbacks fought back. Gregory Soto allowed a single to Perdomo and walked Marte, got Carroll for the 2nd out, and handed the ball to the guy who couldn't get an out in Game 3, a Ryan Kerkering. He walked Moreno, then walked Walker, the game tightening to 2 runs. He was able to get out of it, getting Pavin Smith the ground out. Kimbrell came on to pitch the 8th, and Gurriel greeted him with a double. After getting Longoria to line out, Alek Thomas came in to pinch hit for Emmanuel Rivera, and he launched a game-tying 2-run homer. Kimbrell tried to salvage the inning, striking out Perdomo, but he gave up a hit to Marte, hit Corbin Carroll, and Kimbrell was finally pulled for Jose Alvarado. This move didn't work, as Gabriel Moreno singled to center and scored Marte as the go-ahead run. Paul Sewald came in to close out the game, and despite a 2-out double from Schwarber, he was able to strike out Trey Turner to secure a miraculous comeback win, erasing a 7th inning 5-2 deficit, scoring 4 unanswered, and coming from behind once again to tie the series they would eventually win in 7 games. Number 1, World Series Game 1, Diamondbacks at Rangers. Both teams just came off thrilling Game 7 upset wins on the road, and they had their aces on the mound for Game 1 of the World Series, Zach Gallen and Nathan Eovaldi. Gallen had a rough start, walking Seager, Carter doubling him in, and Garcia singling in Carter. The Diamondbacks had an answer. Yes, the answer backs, I know. Corbin Carroll drove in 2 third-inning runs with a triple, and Marte drove him in with this ground ball to first. Zach Gallen just wasn't sharp, giving up a double and walking 3, the last walk driving in the tying run. Arizona would get that run right back, Tommy Pham leading off the 4th with a home run, and in the 5th, Ketel Marte doubled in Geraldo Perdomo. After a wild first 5 innings, the pitching calmed down, worked out of some jams, the biggest one being the bottom of the 8th. Kevin Ginkel stranding 2 runners by getting out low and young, and handed the ball to Paul Sewald to finish off Game 1. Up to this point, he had thrown 8 innings in the playoffs and given up nothing. Only 3 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. He was as automatic as it comes, but he walked Tavares, struck out Simeon, and then gave Corey Seager a first pitch high fastball, and Seager squared it up. He crushed this ball into the right field seats, 418 feet, 112 miles an hour off the bat, and we were headed into extras. Seager had a chance to win it in the 10th, but with 2 on and 2 out, he grounded out. Jose Leclerc locked down the 10th and 11th, And after Kyle Nelson got Evan Carter to fly out, they brought in Miguel Castro to face Adolis Garcia, and on a 3-1 pitch, he blasted this opposite field walk-off home run. The ALCS MVP carried his dominance into the World Series, and although he had to miss the last 2 games because of injury, he made his mark on the series and the Rangers' first championship. That's a wrap on this list. If you have any other games that should have made the top 5, or would have rearranged anything on here, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and love baseball content, please give me a sub. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.